Here's a piece of sweet gum from a tree we had taken down, and I turned a piece that, where I cut it right here, I turned that half about 7 months ago, and it had some really unusual coloring going on in it and some spalting. Most of the sweet gum is kind of plain looking, but I think this one's going to be interesting. And those pieces were up in a crotch area where it had been trimmed, and I think water got in it, and really Mother Nature went to work on that other piece. I'm going to get this mounted on a worm screw here and see what kind of a shape we can make out of it. Alright, here we go. It's quite a bit out of balance. So that calls for my hogging tool. So I'll just be cutting this. Okay, freshly ground 5/8 sweatback bull gouge. Let's see if this will cut now. I need to try to get a base on here and a tenon. I've got quite a low spot there, so let me just start by working on the base. This has turned out way more interesting than I expected. I'm going to blend some of this now. I'm going to take my negative rake scraper, clean this up, and get it flipped around. We're still cutting a lot of air in here, so it's not real smooth. So I went ahead and cut a little bit of that branch, and that exposed some really interesting areas here. So I'm going to see if I can maybe sand this area with the lathe turning, but I don't want to hit any of this, and I shouldn't. It's in between them. That's going to take a little bit. I'll do all this just by holding it and sanding it. I'll come back when it's flipped around. Well, I got it all flipped around, and it looks about as odd this way as it did the other way. I'm going to just start cutting on here and try to develop a shape that I think I want, and we'll see what happens. I do like that big hole, but I really can't leave that. Otherwise I wouldn't cut anything away here. I haven't got any more RPMs. Still about 550. I wish I could go more, but it's just not wanting to do it. feels a lot harder than I thought it would. I think it's just because of the out of balance and cutting that air. It would probably help to move the tail stock, and I think I got it in the chuck pretty good. I'm going to resharpen everything, and I'll come back with the tail stock out of the way. Alright, let's see if we can get in here a little bit better. I think I'm going to take my hollowing tool just to get through this and get this a little bit deeper, and then I'll switch back to a bowl gouge. At least I think. Okay, now I'm going to change this angle. Come right at the base of that branch. I'm surprised this wood is so hard. We're getting it. I'm going to use the little hollowing tool just to get close to the depth that I want. I've got about an inch thick on the bottom now, and I want to get more out just so I can get this cleaned up. It's going to be thick in a lot of places anyway, so I'm not concerned about that, but I just want to cut some of this. And I still cannot get much over 600 RPMs. I can, but I just don't like the shake and I don't trust it, so we're going to keep going at the speed I have. Which is 620. Using a round 5/8 carbide here, and I have a really sore throat. So the carbide is working quite well, and I've got about a 1/2 inch thickness on this area, so that's going to be good enough. I'm just going to start working this area up and just watch what's going to happen in here, and I'm going to stop when I get it to where I like how it looks. have 700. It has a small shape to it. Okay, a lot of stopping here, but I have to see what I got going on. Alright, I'm going to see if I can scrape this out and get it smooth enough to sand. And I'm going to go with that shape I got. Alright, I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead and finish this by sanding it. I'm going to start with 80 grit, and I can sand the center section while it's spinning. Then I'm going to have to work on these areas all by themselves. We'll do a little sanding here now, and then I'll do the rest of it off camera. That's about what it's going to be like, and that worked pretty good, but I wouldn't want to try to sand this while that's spinning. I'm going to try to get this sanded and then get back in the house. It's cold out here and I have a sore throat. I'm all sanded to 400 grit here, and I took this little brass brush and went over all the bark. I had to go inside of this area and clean it out the best I could. There's dirt down in there, of course. So I'm going to put some sanding sealer on there so you can see what it looks like once you put it on. It always is the best part for me, is to see what it's going to look like. I'm going to use a brush mostly so I can get in that crevice and in the bark, and we'll wipe it down inside of here. I'll get it all inside of here, and then I'll finish the rest of it off of camera, and when I come back the finish will be on it, and we'll be ready to take the tenon off. Okay, I'll be back a bit later. Time to remove the tenon off this guy. And I have this big block here that I shaped to fit pretty close to the surface of the bowl. Get it up in that center and see how it runs. It actually looks like it runs pretty good. I'm not going to try to go too fast, because the fastest I've ever got this to go is about 650. I'm almost 600 now.
Today is New Year's Day. I removed the tenon off of 2 different bowls today. I've had a bad cough and a runny nose, so I went ahead and ran the video a bit fast without sound so you didn't have to hear me coughing and sniffling.
Because this thing is so off balance, especially with this end here, I'm just going to cut a bit more off of this, and then I'll use a chisel to remove the rest. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and chisel it off. That was easy. Well, here's the finished sweet gum turning. This is the other half of a piece I did 7 months ago. So it has similar things going on, like this spalting. It has this area here that rotted out,
And that's why we have this. Water collected there and Mother Nature went to work. The bark is really nice here. It's just real rugged and it's on there very well. And it wrapped around here and it came up from this side as well. I gave it sort of a different shape on the underside because I was dealing with this branch and I wanted to be able to highlight it, so I cut up until I got to there, and that's the shape I ended up with. But the inside doesn't show that at all. So it has sort of a unique shape. It's 12.5 inches wide and it's 7 inches this way, and at this tall point here it's 4 inches. I finished it with sanding sealer and shellac, and I left more of a satin finish than I usually do. I think that looks good on this particular piece. I really enjoyed making this. It's a very sentimental piece. I hope you enjoyed the video.
I'd like to thank everyone for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And a special thanks to all my subscribers. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to my channel and you feel so inclined, please consider subscribing. Thanks again, and until the next time, I'll see you later.